What caused the Great Famine of Finland? Have you ever wondered how a combination of weather and agriculture can lead to a devastating famine? The Great Famine of Finland is a striking example of this. It primarily refers to two major famines in Finnish history, the first occurring from 1695 to 1697, and the second from 1866 to 1868. Both events were marked by severe food shortages that had catastrophic effects on the population. Let's start with the famine of 1695 to 1697. This period is often referred to as the years of many deaths. During this time, Finland was part of the Swedish Empire. The cold and wet weather of the late 17th century played a significant role. This era was known as the Little Ice Age, which brought extremely harsh conditions. Cold summers delayed crop growth, and early frosts destroyed much of the harvest. Rye, a staple crop, was particularly affected, growing late and suffering frost damage. Heavy snow and floods in spring further complicated matters. The short growing season, combined with repeated crop failures, resulted in widespread food shortages. People faced desperate situations, resorting to eating bark bread and, in some tragic cases, cannibalism. This famine was not isolated to Finland. Neighboring regions like Estonia, Latvia, Norway, and Sweden experienced similar hardships due to the same climatic conditions. Volcanic eruptions in the early 1990s may have contributed to atmospheric changes that reduced sunlight, worsening the growing conditions. Now let's look at the famine of 1866 to 1868, known in Finnish as Suuret nälkävuodet, or the Great Hunger Years. This was the last major famine in Finland and Northern Europe. It caused the death of about 8.5% of Finland's population, with some areas losing up to 20%. The immediate cause was a series of poor harvests due to extremely rainy and cold weather in 1866 and 1867. Potatoes and root vegetables rotted in the fields because of the excessive rain, and unfavorable conditions delayed autumn sowing. The winter that followed was particularly harsh, with spring arriving late. In some regions, lakes and rivers remained frozen until June, further delaying agricultural activities. Early frosts in September destroyed what little crops had survived, leading to a harvest that was only about half of the average yield. With around 90% of the population dependent on farming, the impact was devastating. Finland's limited infrastructure made it difficult to import food or distribute aid effectively. The government was slow to respond, partly due to financial constraints and reluctance to borrow money. When aid was finally arranged, it was too late and insufficient. Disease outbreaks, especially typhus, spread rapidly among the weakened population, increasing the death toll. Both famines were exacerbated by the climatic conditions of the Little Ice Age, which brought colder and wetter weather, shortening growing seasons and reducing crop yields across Scandinavia. Finland's largely agrarian society made it particularly vulnerable to these harvest failures. The consequences of these famines were profound, leading to high mortality rates, migration, economic disruption, and lasting cultural trauma. In response to the famine of 1866 to 1868, Finland began reforms to diversify agriculture and improve infrastructure. Public works projects, like railway construction, were initiated to enhance transportation and economic resilience. The experiences during these famines reflected the broader challenges faced by Scandinavian countries in coping with harsh northern climates and adapting agricultural systems to these conditions.